It's been a tough time lately here, worrying about these tariffs. Oh, it's going to be a nice afternoon. Shocking cultural differences between China and the US. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's going to blow your mind. Cultural differences between China and America that are so shocking that you won't believe they are real. From dining etiquette to social norms, these two superpowers are worlds apart. I'm an American and lived most of my life in America. I started visiting China 20 years ago and have been working and living in China for 13 years. Everything that I thought I knew about culture back in the day is completely different from how I experience it now. Stick around, because at the end of this video, you will be questioning everything you thought you knew about culture. Pretty good looking artwork here on this wall. And where I'm at is simply a coincidence. This was not planned. Dong Chen Cultural Center. Let's step inside here and see what it's all about. Here's what they have here. Looks like they got a theater, exhibition hall, cultural center branch, library, and a public electronic reading room. I go on my unplanned excursions and basically do no reconnaissance on what I'm doing and where I'm going. Flying by the seat of my pants. It is so early, I don't think anything is open, which seems to be the case. Everything does seem to be closed. Being a morning guy, you find out a lot of times places are not open. Let's see what else we have. Let's see if the library's open. Chinese kids focus on studying in libraries due to cultural emphasis on education and competitive academics and limited quiet study spaces at home. So many of the kids visit their local libraries to do their studying. Understanding the cultural differences between China and America is more crucial than ever in this globalized world we now have, where international relationships, trade, and even our own identity are deeply impacted by cultural differences. Whether you're a business owner looking to expand in new markets, a student curious about the world beyond its own borders, a traveler on vacation, or simply somebody who's interested in other cultures, grasping these differences is essential. One of the biggest misconceptions about understanding cultural dynamics between China and America is that people often assume that it's all about the language barriers and the exotic foods. But the truth is, there's so much more than that. Keep watching this video. You might learn a little. Looks like during this construction, somebody took the time to engrave some animals. I believe those are a couple of elephants. And over here, this might be the easiest one to make out. This is a monkey. Somebody engraved on this concrete wall. Let's look for one more. Not too sure about this. I don't know, I could see some horns, maybe a ram. Again, this was unplanned, walking around and just seeing some things that I haven't seen before. Makes me say, simply amazing. So people like to bring up the language barrier and the exotic foods. Well, let's start off by talking a little bit about our favorite foods. In America, it's all about convenience. Burgers, fries, and eating on the go. Is that now America's favorite pastime? But in China, it's a whole different story. Well, in China, meals are a gathering experience. Dishes are placed in the center, and everyone shares them. But here's the kicker. Leaving food on your plate is actually a good thing. It shows the host that you are full and satisfied. In America, clean your plate or grandma will guilt trip you for wasting food. And let's not even get started on the chopstick fork debate. How many of you actually knew that China invented the fork, spoon, and knife thousands and thousands of years ago, before they actually invented the chopstick? Did you know in China, sticking your chopstick upright in the rice bowl is a major no-no? Why? Because it resembles funeral rituals. I know what it's like back home in America. You're just happy not to get stabbed with that fork or knife. Simply convenient using chopsticks. Trust me. Now let's talk about greetings and meetings. In America, it's all about that firm handshake, that confidence, and maybe even that pat on the back. But in China, physical contact is often avoided. A simple nod, a slight bow is more common, especially in formal settings. And guess what? Don't even think about hugging someone in China unless they are very close to you. Personal space in China is a big deal, and invading their space can make people feel very uncomfortable if you're not close to them. Many people struggle to navigate the complexities of Guanxi, which is, in China, the system of social networks and building relationships, which helps facilitate business and other dealings. On the other hand, Americans often find themselves perplexed by China's rigid hierarchy and the importance of saving face. Then there's a challenge of navigating vastly different communication styles, where Americans tend to value directness and the Chinese people prioritize harmony. Moreover, when trying to understand cultural differences, people often focus on the stereotypes rather than looking at the nuances within each culture. For example, assuming all Chinese work around the clock 24/7 and all Americans are loud and outgoing. These are stereotypes. They're oversimplified, but stereotypes. The complexities of human experience, but they also lead to misunderstandings and miscommunication. Furthermore, the Western media will blow the cultural differences out of proportion, making it seem like East and West are worlds and worlds apart. But in reality is that there are many commonalities that are shared. We share human values that transcend borders. By recognizing these commonalities, we could build bridges instead of walls. As we dive deeper into the cultural differences between China and America, it's essential to acknowledge the inherent biases we bring to the table. Our own cultural backgrounds, upbringings, and experiences shape our perception, and it's crucial to be aware of these biases to avoid making unfair judgments. When it comes to communication styles, China and America couldn't be more different. In China, communication is often indirect, with a strong focus on context and relationships. In America, communication is direct, with a focus on individualism and straightforwardness. For instance, in a business setting, an American might directly ask for a favor, while a Chinese person would most likely take their time and go through a series of questions and gestures and hints to achieve the same goal. A little bit of a view of where I'm walking around. Some pretty nice apartments. Not the new sleek apartments, but these are certainly beautiful. Family values are another significant area where cultural differences emerge between China and America. In China, family is often the center of one's life, with a strong emphasis on family values and respecting one's elders. In America, individualism is celebrated, and family dynamics are more casual and relaxed. To be frank, are simply amazing, and that just does not exist in America. Believe me, I know. Lived most of my life in the US and now live in China. It's night and day. I'm not saying there are some families that don't have great core family values, but not like Asia, not like China. It's amazing here to see how the families get along, stick together, and support one another for their entire lives. And it's simply amazing. The difference in family values is reflected in the way each culture approaches education, with China placing a strong emphasis on academic achievements, and America focusing on extracurricular activities and personal growth. To each their own, but how China has so many STEM graduates who every year are going out into the workplace in China to help advance this country is extraordinary. And no country is doing this. So I came inside a store to buy some beef because I love my protein. The lovely lady who always helps me out, her name is Jessie. So, a lot of this video is about stereotypes. So I'm in China, a beautiful Chinese lady, but guess what? She's from Italy. She's Italian.
Ciao tutti.
She's living and working in China like me, on a work permit and a residence permit. So Jessie, how do you like living and working in China? Like it?
Yeah, I like it.
But I know you miss Italy, huh?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So like I said, this is where I come to get my beef. I love steaks. This little place has everything. It's simply amazing. And by the way, they will cook it for you. And tell everybody the name of this place so they know.
The butchery house.
Did you get that? And for all you drinkers, they've got wine here. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
This lovely girl helps me. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and get a shrimp Caesar salad. It's turning out to be a lovely day. Finally starting to see some blue skies and the sun after a week of rain. So I gotta pick up a few things here in the store. Come along with me for a minute. Right. Love my macadamians and almonds. Another treat. Love my 100% cocoa. This stuff is healthy. It's been a tough time lately here, worrying about these tariffs. It's a cat and mouse game with me. I'm ready to fall off the wagon. It's gonna be a nice afternoon. Nope, not gonna do it. I've come too far. I'll never let one man in the office have me turn back to alcohol. I'll figure things out with this trade war, as you will too. Be smart on your spending. Don't let these tariffs impact your life. There's ways around them. Kids like their sweets. I'm buying these sugar-free cookies now. They're pretty good. You get one orange and one chocolate. They have everything in this little store. It's a small little convenience store. You can just quickly see what they have. The pasta sauces, salsas, tortillas. Wow, look at this. They even have macaroni and cheese. I lived on that back in the day. I need some olive oil, and I'm gonna go basic. Some greens, organic vegetables here. Get a couple of these, make salads at home. So this little store has everything. If you wanna make some foreign food for yourself, to remind you of home. Or you can go out to a foreign restaurant and pay big bucks. I'll cook for myself. For you ice cream lovers, the store that I'm in even has Haagen-Dazs. So for a lot of foreigners that want a taste of home, they can come into these stores throughout China and buy some of the goods. But guess what? Here's the big story. All of the prices inside this store has already increased. Why? Thanks to the US president. It has a ripple effect all the way back to China and the prices here. Simply incredible. So what does that mean when you're shopping in China? Buy Chinese-made brands. And if they don't have what you're looking for, buy something from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Russia. There's many other countries. But I'm not going to pay the high prices that the American government's pushing out. Hell no. I'm not falling into the trap of the trade war. Why would I buy an American product when I could buy a Chinese product? Well, that's my rant on that. Check out this small train station I'm at. So clean. No homeless anywhere. Just seems so safe. Again, I don't make this stuff up. And I know I'm not the only one that sees this and says this about China and the train stations, the bus stops, the parks. It's simply clean, safe, no drug addicts, no unfortunate people, homeless. Public spaces in China are perfectly clean, perfectly safe. Unfortunately, America is no longer like that. Social norms also significantly differ between China and America. In China, social harmony is paramount, and individuals in China often prioritize community over personal desires. In America, individual freedom and autonomy are deeply cherished, with a strong emphasis of expressing one's opinion and standing out from the crowd. However, beneath these differences lies a more profound cultural distinction. In China, the concept of a collective society is deeply ingrained to the citizens, where the needs of community are prioritized over individual desires. In America, individualism reigns supremely, with a strong emphasis on personal freedom and autonomy. This fundamental difference in values is the essence of each culture, shaping the way people think, live, and interact with one another. Gift giving is another area where things get super tricky. Americans love giving gifts, birthdays, holidays, pretty much any time. But in China, gift giving is a little more complex. For instance, in China, giving a clock for a gift is considered bad luck. And in China, white wrapping paper, that's not associated with weddings like in the US. In China, it's associated with mourning. And giving gifts with sharp objects, that's considered cutting ties. So for a foreigner or an American coming to China with the attitude that he's going to give a lot of gifts, learn the culture first, or else it's like walking through a minefield. Let me sit down for a second. I've been walking a lot today. Work culture is another area where China and America couldn't be more different. Speak up, share your ideas, and take credit for your work. But in China, it's about harmony and hierarchy. In China, for example, challenging your boss is a no-no. Respect authority in China is huge, and teamwork is definitely valued over individual achievements. In China, when an individual does achieve something and gets a little gift or a prize, they share it with everybody. The most striking cultural difference that encapsulates the essence of each culture is the concept of face in China and the concept of personal space in America. The concept of saving face, it's a whole cultural phenomenon in China that could make or break relationships. In China, saving face is crucial as it directly impacts one's social standing and reputation. And in America, personal space is mandatory. This concept of face and personal space is a perfect example how China and America, these two cultures, approach life. In China, relationships and community are at the forefront. There is no doubt about that. While in America, individualism is paramount, but there's not much harmony, and you can tell by a lot of the crime that's going on in the country. In exploring these cultural differences, we are reminded that both China and America offer unique perspectives and values that can enrich our understanding of the world. Rather than pitting one culture against the other, which the Western media likes to do, we can learn from each other, strengths and weaknesses, foster a greater global understanding and cooperation. So there you have it, some of the most shocking cultural differences between China and America. And I'm sure there's many, many more. Who knew two countries could be so different? But they are. So that's it for the video as I'm back inside my apartment complex where I just can't get enough of these apartment skyscrapers. Simply amazing. So do me a favor, don't forget to like and subscribe, and please comment on what you feel the cultural differences are between China and America. And last but not least, I want to say one thing. If we, as citizens of the world, would better understand each other's cultures around the world, I'm sure that would help give peace a chance and less war. So everybody, be good, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one.